Imagine standing on tiptoes, straining to see further, only to find yourself wobbling and losing balance. Picture someone rushing frantically ahead, breathless and stumbling, while missing the very path they seek to travel. This is the human condition that Lao Tzu observed over 2 millennia ago. Our tendency to try so hard that we defeat ourselves, to force so intensely that we create the very resistance we wish to overcome. What if everything we've been taught about success, improvement, and achievement has been leading us away from what we truly seek? What if the secret to a fulfilling life lies not in doing more, but in understanding the profound art of not trying? Let's journey into the ancient wisdom of Wu Wei, where rivers teach us about power, where emptiness becomes fullness, and where the deepest strength emerges from the gentlest touch. In our relentless modern pursuit of betterment, we've created a peculiar tragedy. We gain knowledge, yet feel more confused. We chase external achievements, yet find ourselves exhausted and discontent. We build elaborate systems of rules and ethics, believing they'll guide us to happiness, yet somehow feel more trapped than liberated. The ancient Taoist sages observed this human predicament with compassionate clarity. They saw that our very attempts to swim against life's current were the source of our struggle. Like someone frantically thrashing in water, our efforts to control and improve often push us further from shore. Consider this. How many of our problems seem to solve themselves when we stop trying to fix them? How often do our forceful interventions make situations worse rather than better? The Taoists recognize that behind the ever-changing dance of existence lies something they call the Tao, a mysterious, undefinable flow that encompasses everything yet remains beyond our complete comprehension. 5 colors blind the eye. 5 notes deafen the ear. 5 flavors make the palate go stale, wrote Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. In our human desire to make sense of the infinite complexity around us, we create categories, systems, and frameworks. We arrange colors into palettes, organize sounds into scales, classify flavors into types. While this helps us navigate daily life, it also creates invisible prisons. We begin to see only what our categories allow us to see, losing touch with the vast richness that exists beyond our mental constructs. Think of trying to capture the essence of love in a definition, or explaining the feeling of music to someone who's never heard sound. The moment we try to pin down these experiences with words and concepts, something essential slips away. This is the tragic beauty of human consciousness. Our gift for understanding can become our limitation. Have you ever watched a master craftsperson at work? A potter whose hands seem to dance with the clay, a musician whose fingers flow across keys without conscious thought, a dancer who becomes the very rhythm they move to? This is Wu Wei in action, often translated as non-doing or effortless action. Wu Wei doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting with such harmony to the natural rhythms around you that your actions become effortless, perfectly timed, and surprisingly powerful. Like water flowing around stones in a riverbed, it neither fights nor forces, yet shapes entire landscapes over time. When we're in this flow state, we become the act itself. The writer becomes the words flowing onto paper. The gardener becomes one with the soil and seasons. The parent responds to their child's needs with intuitive wisdom rather than calculated strategy. This is the invisible strength behind all natural order. Our modern culture worships at the altar of effort. We believe that more trying equals better results, that force creates progress, that control brings security. Yet observe what happens when we apply this logic to the delicate aspects of life. In trying to improve the world, we often become like the well-intentioned reformer who arrives in a foreign land, convinced they know what's best for others. As Confucius wisely observed, using other people's perceived faults to parade our own excellence only creates division and resistance. The world, as Lao Tzu reminds us, is a sacred vessel that cannot be controlled. We only make it worse when we try. In trying to be happy, we exhaust ourselves chasing wealth, status, fame, and achievement, believing these will finally bring contentment. Yet like a dog chasing its own tail, the pursuit itself prevents us from catching what we seek. True happiness, the Taoists suggest, isn't found in accumulation, but in a deep contentment that arises naturally when we stop grasping. In trying to be someone else, we deny the perfect nature of who we already are. We see others' gifts and judge our own as inadequate. The centipede envies the snake's ability to move without legs, while the snake envies the wind's freedom from physical form. Yet each is exactly what they need for their unique expression in the great dance of existence. So how do we live with this understanding? The Taoists offer us gentle guidance, not rigid rules. Stay centered. Like a tree that bends with the storm, yet remains rooted, we can learn to respond to life's changes without losing our essential nature. This doesn't mean being passive, but rather finding that sweet spot between forcing and surrendering, between action and rest. Practice the art of unlearning. Each day, instead of accumulating more knowledge, beliefs, and opinions, we can let go of something that no longer serves us. This creates space for wisdom to emerge naturally, for situations to reveal their own solutions, for life to unfold in ways our planning mind could never imagine. Embrace the fasting of the heart. This beautiful phrase from Taoist tradition refers to emptying ourselves of preconceptions, desires, and the constant mental chatter that clouds our perception. In this inner stillness, we become open to what the moment actually offers, rather than what we think it should offer. The deepest teaching of Wu Wei is profoundly paradoxical. By doing less, we often achieve more. By controlling less, we influence more. By grasping less, we receive more. This isn't magical thinking, but a recognition of how life actually works when we align ourselves with its natural rhythms. Watch a skilled martial artist. They don't meet force with greater force, but redirect their opponent's energy, using the attacker's momentum against them. Observe a wise parent. They don't control their child's every move, but create conditions for healthy growth. Notice how the most influential leaders often lead by example rather than command, creating space for others to discover their own wisdom. This approach transforms how we handle conflict, setbacks, and the inevitable difficulties of human existence. Instead of battling against challenging emotions or circumstances, we learn to observe them with compassionate attention, trusting that like weather patterns, they will change naturally when given space and time. The river flowing around stones doesn't struggle or strain. It doesn't judge the stones as obstacles or enemies. It simply flows, and in its patient persistence, it shapes the landscape more profoundly than any force applied with violence. This is the metaphor that captures Wu Wei's essence: power without aggression, progress without resistance, influence through patience. In our daily lives, this might mean pausing before that reactive email, creating space in a tense conversation, allowing our child's tantrum to run its course without immediately trying to fix or stop it. It means trusting that our authentic presence often accomplishes more than our anxious doing. Through the lens of Wu Wei, life becomes less a battle to be won and more a dance to be joined. A dance where the true art lies not in perfect steps, but in responding gracefully to the music as it changes. We don't give up our agency or abandon our dreams. We simply hold them more lightly, allowing them to evolve as we do. The next time you feel the familiar urge to force an outcome, to control a situation, or try harder in hopes of different results, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, how can I flow with this moment instead of fighting it? How might less effort reveal more possibility? How can I trust the wisdom that emerges when I stop trying to manufacture it? In embracing the art of not trying, we don't become passive or resigned. We step into an ancient wisdom as natural as the river's flow, as patient as the mountain's presence, as persistent as the gentle wind that ultimately moves even the mightiest trees. We discover that the greatest strength often lies in knowing when to yield, the deepest wisdom in understanding when to wait, and the most profound peace in learning how to let go. This is Wu Wei, the art of not trying that opens us to life's effortless grace, where doing less becomes the pathway to being more fully alive.